Hey everyone, and welcome back. We hope things are going well for you so far this quarter 4. As per usual, we'll be sitting down with some more of our amazing teachers at Elgin. This time we will be focusing on science. So please let me introduce Ms. Johnston, Ms. Heintz, and Mr. Kwan. So do you guys want to go ahead and introduce yourselves and what you teach?
My name is Ms. Johnston. I teach junior science, mainly grade 8s, Earth Science, Geology, and Physics.
I'm Mr. Kwan. I teach mostly chemistry 11 and 12, and in the junior sciences, I teach mostly grade 9 and 10.
I'm Ms.Heintz, and in the junior sciences, I teach grade 9. In the senior sciences, I mostly teach life sciences or biology 11.
So to start off, do you want to give us a quick overview on what the junior sciences look like?
Okay, so Science 8, we start out by looking at the structure of the cell, and then we look at microbes. In chemistry, we look at the structure of the atom and how matter interacts. In physics, we look at waves and light, and then in earth science, we study plate tectonics, so we look at the structure of the earth and earthquakes and volcanoes.
So for grade 9 science, like grade 8 science and grade 10 science, we cover some biology and some chemistry and some physics. For the chemistry, we continue looking at elements and compounds, and we do lots and lots of chemistry labs. We focus on skills in grade 9 in chemistry, so kids learn how to use the Bunsen burner and how to conduct a chemistry experiment safely. In physics, we look at electricity and we build circuits. In biology, we look at reproduction. And finally, in Science 9, we cover ecology. And that's about it.
And in grade 10, we kind of continue on. In grade 9, it's still a survey course where we focus on a little bit of chemistry, physics, and biology. In the biology section, we look at some really interesting concepts such as genetics. For example, how it is that my wife and I both have brown eyes, but our eldest son has blue eyes, how that's possible. We get into a little chemistry where we learn different types of reactions. We do quite a few labs, and we set you up for a foundation to go into grade 11. In the physics section, we study mostly different types of energy and how different types of energy are transformed from one type to another.
Thanks for sharing. So after the junior courses into the senior sciences, the path is sort of split up. So could we talk a little bit about how that works and what it looks like?
After grade 10, you then can decide whether you would like to specialize in life sciences, chemistry, or in physics, or in geology. So there's lots to choose from. And you can take more than one of those courses as well. So for that reason, it's really important to have really good discussions with your science teachers in grade 10 so that you can set up your grade 11 and 12 year and have time to do all the science courses that you would like to do. So in terms of biology, we have life sciences 11 and anatomy and physiology 12. For the grade 11 course, it's a survey course where we look at all the different organisms that live on Earth. But before that, we start off with some evolution, and we cover some other topics that are really important to have a good understanding of for students who want to go into university and students who even want to just continue on into the grade 12 life sciences. Life Sciences 11 allows students to really get to understand biology and to also gain the skills being able to manage a lot of information really well, because there's a big step between your grade 10 science and your grade 11 sciences. So you don't want to really skip over the grade 11 level. In grade 12, anatomy and physiology, that's where you study the human body. And so you look at all the different systems. As well, you look at DNA and protein synthesis. In terms of lab work, we do a lot of lab work in grade 11. We grow bacteria, we collect organisms, and we do a lot of dissections as well. We end up with dissecting a rat. And in grade 12, you do fewer labs, but all the work has to do with the human body. And I think that's about it for the life sciences.
Okay. Chemistry. So a lot of students come into Chemistry 11 not really knowing what to expect sometimes. There's actually quite a bit of math in Chemistry 11. It's not hard math, it's mostly like grade 9 level math. but we use it quite a bit. We also look a lot into different properties of types of matter and how to exploit those properties. And there's also an introduction to some solution chemistry, a little bit of atomic theory that explains why is it certain things have different boiling temperatures, why is it certain things are solid at room temperature and other things are liquid or gas. That sort of gives us a good broad foundation for going to Chemistry 12, which is very much based on reaction chemistry. We look at reactions that can both go forward and backwards at the same time. It's a concept that we introduced called equilibrium, and that's kind of the foundation for the whole course. And then we also introduce the concept of electrochemistry, which is the chemical reactions that cause electricity, like in a battery. And I think that's it.
In Physics 11, we start out by looking at how things move, and from there we look into why things move. So that's what we call dynamics. From there we move into energy, so looking at how forces affect the rate at which things move. From there we move into electricity. So we start out by looking at a little bit of electrostatics before we look at some circuits. And we finish off the course hopefully with some waves and sound. In Physics 12, we continue with a lot of the work that you did in Physics 11, but it's taught at a slightly higher level. In all of physics, it's very math-based. It's what we could probably call applied mathematics. In Physics 11, we try and focus a lot on the concepts, although it's still being expressed mathematically. So the math is at a more basic level. In Physics 12, that increases. We're dealing now with forces and movement in 2 and even 3 dimensions. In all of these courses, not only are we working through problems, but we're also doing some hands-on activities. So we're doing labs to collect data, we're processing that data, and we're playing with different pieces of equipment. In Physics 11, we usually do a project, either some sort of mousetrap car or a hovercraft, in order to explore the physics. And then in Physics 12, Dr. Baines usually has a project dealing with a remote control vehicle of some sort and different races. So it can be a lot of fun getting involved with those hands-on projects. The last branch of science that we cover in grade 11 and grade 12 is Earth Science and Geology. In grade 11, you have the option of taking Earth Science, which starts out with a very basic understanding of the structure of the Earth. And we look at things like plate tectonics that you would have touched on in grade 8, and then we look at different types of rocks and minerals and how they form. And then we move on to study meteorology, which is the study of the atmosphere and weather. From there we move into oceanography and the study of oceans, and we finish off with some astronomy. So we look at the placement of the Earth within our universe. In geology, we focus on the Earth itself. So we start out with the structure of the Earth and the materials that make up the Earth, and from there we look at the processes that shape the surface, including things like weathering and erosion. We look as well at geologic time and the history of the Earth's formation. Geology 12 can actually be taken without taking Earth Science 11. It's one of the few Science 12 courses that you can take without taking the grade 11 course.
And last but not least, I know that Science Co-op isn't an opportunity that has been running this year, but could you tell us a little bit about how Science Co-op works and what it offers?
Sure, yeah, the Science Pro Co-op program. It's a program we've ran in the past for many years. It's taken a little bit of a hiatus the last year or two. We'd love to see it pick up and run again. In the Science Co-op program, you are in your grade 11 year, you're taking 2 grade 11 science classes. In the past, it's been biology and chemistry, and we're always looking at different options as well. But along with that, you're taking what's called your CLC, your Career Life Connections course, which is basically making personal and career plans and post-secondary education plans for when you're finished high school. And you also get a couple of different work placements where you get to go out and work for a couple of weeks in a field that is ideally related to science. And this is a great opportunity for students that think maybe they're interested in a career in science, aren't really sure, and would like to find out a little bit more what kind of career options are available that are related to sciences that aren't your traditional doctor, engineer, research scientist type roles. There's a lot out there that's related to science that a lot of people just aren't aware of, and Science Co-op's a great way to get exposed to that.
Thank you all for coming here and volunteering your time to speak about your courses. I'm sure all the students listening to this video will have gained some insight about the courses that they might want to take at Elgin.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you for having us.
And that's all for today. We hope that you enjoyed and learned something new from this video. To especially for those of you interested or unsure about science. We might be starting to sound a bit like a broken record, but if you have any questions about today's interview, make sure to send them over to the Ask Anything tab in the Grade 8 Teams. Or if you happen to have some free time, head on over to the Science Wing to ask our teachers more specific inquiries, following COVID procedures, of course. That's all for today. Thanks for joining, and see you next time.